welcome to this very special.
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this gorgeous Wednesday, even though it's a week earlier on a Thursday. We do all these pre-recorded, and today I'm tired of hearing the guys ask me, like, Dawn, when are you going to do something for the boys? So today, even though I'm dressed all girly, I brought my buddy all the way up from Boca, and we're going to talk to him, and you might recognize this guy's face. In fact, I'm going to put some bleeps in of some videos you might have seen of him on WPTV, wasn't it?
WPTV, ESPN West Palm, CBS 12 here in West Palm Beach. So I've been around a little bit, little news,
He's
little
been around the
sports.
block. You better not say that too much here in Florida.
Right,
You guys have a rep as it is. All right, guys, so we'll be right back after we watch this reel. So much, Paxton Boyd, for coming all the way up in this crazy weather today. I mean, it's like torrential outside. You can actually hear it. So, okay, so like I said, this goes out to Jared, who was giving me a lot of crap about not doing anything for boys for the last 6 months. So I reached out to Paxton actually because I saw some of your stuff, and I was very impressed when I was like, this guy's got his shit together, and he's very young, because you're only in your 30s.
I don't know about that.
Well, to me, you're a baby. But anyway, so the couple of things that I want to cover is, A, how you even got into the business. I mean, were you an athlete in high school, and then all of a sudden you were like, I have to make this my career? Was it always in your blood? Do you have family? Okay, so let's cover that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give you guys some football tips, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Whatever you want to do, we'll see where it takes us.
Okay, so let's start with, are you a Floridian? Are you a local, or did you transplant?
I am not a Floridian. I was born and raised in Kentucky and lived there for the first 24 years of my life. Yeah, so born and raised in Kentucky. And as you know, this business will kind of take you everywhere. So I was born and raised in Kentucky. My first job was in Kentucky. And
like a local news station, right out of high school or something? Or?
Out of college. I went to Western Kentucky University. So I grew up just south of Louisville, 45 minutes south of Louisville. Went to Western Kentucky University, which was only an hour and a half, from my home. And then I went to WYMT in Hazard, Kentucky, which was 3-4 hours away. So I was pretty fortunate to be pretty close to home all throughout, college and the beginning of my career. And then I packed up my stuff, went all the way across to Yuma, Arizona.
Oh my gosh.
So
what took you out there? An opportunity, I imagine,
An opportunity,
right?
Yeah. So, I started in a small sports department at a small station in eastern Kentucky in the mountains of Hazard, Kentucky. And
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember, you got to pay your dues, and I remember applying for this job. I looked at the website, and the big story on the website was that a bear got hit on the highway, in the mountains,
gosh.
and I was just like, oh my goodness, what am I getting myself into? So
that sounds like more for something for a park ranger, not necessarily a guy that wants to be a sportscaster.
Right, yeah. So
but like you said, you were paying your dues.
Yeah, it was a culture shock for me because it was still Kentucky, but it was rural eastern Kentucky in the mountains, nothing that I was used to. Growing up. So I go out there and, sports were big. High school sports were really big. High school football, high school basketball. And I kind of found myself in a position where our sports director had been there for 6 years, the number 2 guy, the weekend sports anchor. He had been there for a while. He was from the area. He had just gotten married. And, I kind of found myself where I was kind of bumping my head on the ceiling. Those guys weren't going anywhere anytime soon. And I got really good at things that the going out and shooting video, editing, but the things that I wanted to do, the anchoring, the reporting, the on-air stuff, I wasn't getting so many reps. So that's when I kind of had to push myself out of my comfort zone, and that's when I went to Yuma, Arizona. From there I went to Mobile, Alabama, and then down here. I've been here in Florida for a little more than 5 years now. So.
Wow. Okay. And then when did you actually get in with ESPN Sports? Because that's, we're going from Bears to now all of a sudden the Bears. So, how did that transition happen? For anybody out there that's curious, wants to know, maybe is in that business right now.
Right. Like I said, it's a lot of paying your dues. You got to go from A to Z, and one thing that I like to tell people who reach out to me for advice, how do you get to where you are to where you want to go? There's really no shortcut. From A to Z, you got to go from B, C, D, E, F.
Exactly. And you have to take the opportunities. That's huge.
Exactly.
I have people that will talk to me about business, and they'll say, well, why can't I skip that step? I'm almost there. And I'm like, if you don't start at the steps that you think are the bottom of the ladder, you're not going to know what to do with yourself when you get to the top of the ladder.
Right.
Because now you're competing with everybody else that put their dues in.
Right.
So for me, I think it's almost better that you were thrown in with the Bears, right? Because now you were ready to handle the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. So I started in Eastern Kentucky, like I said. My first job paid me $23,600.
Isn't it amazing how we remember our first year's
I remember
salary?
thinking I can get by on that. That's great, and I'll never
it's
have
$700 for rent.
Yeah,
I can cover that.
I'll never have to ask my parents for money again. And then that first time rent was due, I was
oh
like,
my God, that's
uh-oh.
so funny. Yeah, it's a shock.
Yeah, so you just keep kind of chipping away and working yourself. And if you have a dream, you just have to chip away at it, each and every day, and do something that gets you one step closer. And that's.
Now, do you believe some of it is luck though? Because I'll be honest. I mean, I'm 5'4", and the fact that I made it all the way to California to do any kind of modeling was literally just because the agent's brother happened to be in my mother's office.
Right.
He works in software. Two totally different types of careers.
Mm-hmm.
He saw my picture and was like, "Your daughter's got to get out to California to my brother."
Right.
So that I always say was complete fluke. I didn't even want to model. It was nothing I was looking to do. So was there somebody that you met that kind of helped you to push you into that direction of sportscast? Because I always kind of thought it was a very tight-knit group. I mean, like I said, I love Mike and Mike, but there only seems to be a couple of guys that want to hang out with each other.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is just getting that first job and making it to the first step and everything.
Right.
And then, like you said, it's a lot of luck from there on out because, we work on contracts. Once your contract's
What does that
up,
mean?
So basically, anywhere you go in broadcasting, standard is you're going to sign a 2 to 3 year contract. So
so it's just like
modeling. So you can't really project what jobs are going to be open in a certain market at the time your contract comes up. So it's a lot of sometimes you're working with agents, sometimes you're reaching out, and you have to kind of be your own agent. Oh, this person's been there for a couple of years. Their contract might be coming up when mine is, so they might be leaving, and this is a market I might want to go to. So it's a lot of you have to have a lot of foresight. Like I said,
it keeps you on your toes because 2 to 3 years, that is nothing.
Yeah, it seems like an eternity, but
but really it goes so fast, and now all of a sudden you're having to say to yourself, I guess in a way it's good because you're not limiting yourself either.
Right.
Because you're like, hey, after 3 years, you probably know by year 2 of that contract if you want to stick around.
Right.
If the people are good. So do you have an options with this contract where you can rewrite it?
Yeah, typically.
They can ask you?
Sometimes there will be an option for a 3rd year. Sometimes you can put outs, what are called outs in your contract, where
if you get another opportunity, you can get out.
Say I've been
like
here,
a mulligan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, say I've been here for a year, and I want to put a stipulation in here that if a job opens up in a top 25 market, I can get out of my contract.
Okay.
But a lot of it is luck, and the broadcasting industry is very small. I have an agent now. When I got here, I didn't. So I was just kind of doing the work by myself, and
so you were hustling.
Yeah. So like I said, each job that kind of comes up, you kind of look who's there. Sometimes you have a connection who's there that you worked in a former market, or that you'll find the degrees of separation are always there. I know this person who was a producer. Who used to work with this anchor.
Yeah,
so,
I say there's no more 6 degrees. We're lucky if it's 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because everyone knows everyone.
And you don't want to cross any bridges in the industry at all, because there's someone who knows someone who knows someone, and it will come back You know,
so you gotta watch what you put on your social media.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
TMZ's gonna call you out.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, in this day and age, news directors love to check your Twitter, love to check your social media, love to check your Facebook page. And
would you have any recommendations for anybody that is young? Like, there are people, and I know personally because I had a woman that reached out to me about her daughter, and I said the biggest thing is, if she wants to be an advocate, that's wonderful. But you've got to be really careful about what you're advocating, especially when it comes to politics, religion. Yeah. I mean, if you have a strong conviction, that's one thing. But if there's a way you can almost tweak it that you're not necessarily hurting either side, I just always feel that's safer because, you know, her response was, yeah, but I mean, if that's what she really feels, and I said, that's what she feels now because she's 16.
Right.
When she's 26, 10 years from now, she could be a completely different person. And wouldn't it be a terrible thing if something that she tweeted about, which she's not even a part of a cause now, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Gets out.
Yeah. And looking back who I was when I got into the industry at 21, 22, I didn't know who I was yet. You know, I'm a completely different person.
Yourself. You're still finding yourself.
Exactly.
You're a baby.
Yeah. So yeah, that, and then you know, especially in broadcasting, you know, you can't let those, because if you identify with a certain political party or a candidate or something, you're alienating 50% of your audience right off the bat, and they'll never care about anything that you have to say. Or even in sports, if
you gotta be like Switzerland, just be neutral.
Exactly, yeah. Even in sports, if you know, I'm a big fan of a rival school of Miami. You know, the people in the Miami market are gonna, oh, this guy, you know, he doesn't care about us. You know.
Oh,
like,
that would be tough. That would be tough for me to not like say what I want to say.
So you have to
you gotta be like rooting for them, like on the sidelines.
Exactly. Yeah. No cheering in the press box, as we say. So.
Oh, okay. So no cheering in the press box. Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered how it is that you came to be in this. You know, and I'm sure, you know, the men out there were just loving hearing all of that. But I think what they're more interested in is with the sports that are coming up now, can you tell us anything about, are they going to let all of the people into the auditoriums? Is it, no, it's not a stadium. Right, okay, that's my sports knowledge. I just said auditorium.
We're getting there. It certainly looks like, you know, I know the baseball season's going on now. I know, you know, it varies from state to state and different ordinances and things like that. I know, you know, slowly they're starting to up the capacity from, you know, 10%, 25% or getting to 50. NFL season's coming up. I know they're planning on having, the goal for them is to have full capacity when the season starts. So, yeah, hopefully we can continue to trend upward because, you know, I don't know how much sports you watch, but, you know, it just wasn't the same.
I watch a ton.
Yeah, it just wasn't. This wasn't the same watching an NFL game last year. You know, when someone scores a touchdown and then, you know, they pan out and there's no one in the stands, or there's, you know, cardboard cutouts. Or,
that energy just isn't the same. You need that energy of it. Okay, so if we were going to talk about sports right now, and again, I don't know anything about these teams. I mean, who's like what would something, again, this is for you boys, like what is it something that they would want to know? You know what I mean? Like from you being a sportscaster, would they want to know, hey, the Bears are going to take it all the way this year? Are they even a contender? I don't know. I kind of always thought they weren't.
Like,
you know
as far
what I mean?
as
like, what are the good teams? Like, you know, give me some juice.
Oh man, were we talking?
Give me some predictions. Is there anything else?
Yeah.
Oh, college. You're talking about college. Yeah, I mean, I love college football because I still feel like they're playing because they can still just play. It's not so much about money.
Yeah, the NFL.
All right, let's do both. Let's do both. So with college right now, who would you predict?
Oh goodness. I mean, it seems like the Final Four, you know, all, you know, for as long as anyone can remember, has been Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson,
Ohio
you know,
State,
same team. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, want to see the playoff expanded because it seems like it's the same 4 teams every year.
So the teams are, again, Ohio State, which I know, because I have a very good buddy of mine. I've been up there. They have amazing tailgating.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even think I saw the game. I was like, you guys just go ahead.
Right.
Okay, you said Clemson.
Clemson, Alabama's always in there.
And then
it's hard to bet against Alabama. That fourth is kind of like a rotating door. You know, Florida, you know, always makes a push.
Okay.
You know,
now is that Florida, not the Seminole team, but the Florida State team, right?
Yeah. FSU's not doing too hot.
I was gonna say, I mean, I thought that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the college teams, are they doing anything different this year because of COVID? Like, can anybody expect anything different other than maybe they're going to just swab them before they come in?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We still have a while to go for the fall before the games start, so kind of running into the same thing. You want to see.
Oh, that's true. We're going into the summer.
Yeah. So a lot of teams just had like their spring games or their spring football, and a lot of it was varied from school to school. Some of it was limited capacity. Some of it was. No media, anything at all, just sponsors and donors, so it varied.
Right.
So again, everyone wants to see that continue to trend upwards.
Okay, and I know that now that I'm actually putting my thinking cap on, I realized like football isn't even. I mean, it was just over in like January.
Yeah, it seems like
we just had the Super Bowl, so it's like now that we're getting into May, they're not even going to start practices up until like August, right?
Yeah.
And the games kind of start around there.
Summer. Yeah.
So could you even give us like your prediction, because you work with these teams, you work with these guys, right? Like behind the scenes. So then we can look back at this,
right,
and see if your predictions
see
are
how
right.
wrong I am, and everyone call me an idiot in the comment section.
They totally wouldn't. You be nice.
No, it's actually a good time to do this because we were just talking about before we started filming. The NFL. We just went through our free agency period, which leads into the NFL draft. So
yes, I saw the things all over. I don't know what they're called, but when they show you when the families.
Right.
And that is so cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm crying, and I don't even know these guys.
Right. Yeah.
But I just realized how much their life is about to change.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
it's just incredible.
That's one of my favorite things, to watch and be a part of. Being here in.
Do you ever get to see this?
Yeah. Being here in South Florida,
so cool.
we've been really fortunate to have a lot of good athletes. Whether
they all come out of UM.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good athletes that have a chance to get drafted here, and there's nothing cooler than being at a draft party and it's friends and family and loved ones, and when they get the moment and that phone call comes, the just raw emotion, because it's just years and years of practice and hard work and all of that coming into fruition.
So do you get the call because they're in Miami, or is that?
Basically it's just making the relationships with those players, and they'll have a draft party and they'll be like, come and bring a camera.
Paxton,
like
come on down.
Yeah. So so that's always really cool. So
yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so let's talk then a little bit about the predictions, because I know some of the big teams, and I'm going to be totally wrong here, but the Steelers finally were making their way back.
Yeah,
right? Like last year.
They've had some quarterback issues. Big Ben Roethlisberger is.
And then that young kid
issues.
came in.
Yeah, he's had
and
issues.
They thought that kid was going to take it all, and then unfortunately, right? He disappointed a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. See, I pay attention.
Yeah. Okay. Impressive. Yeah. So. It's going to be very interesting because we could see very well, and what my prediction would be right now is a repeat of last year's Super Bowl.
Okay.
And that's Tampa Bay, who literally returned all 22 starters.
You got to give it to Brady because, his diet, I've seen his documentary. I myself do a Mediterranean diet. He does a very similar diet, even stronger than that.
Right.
But you have to give it to that guy because you could say it's the teams and the team effort, but this guy just keeps leading teams and then getting rings. So after a while, it's kind of like, he's probably, in all of history, he has to be the one with the most rings.
Oh, yeah,
I can be totally wrong, but...
Yeah, 7 Super Bowl rings
right now.
and
he's only like 42. Like, that's pretty sick.
Right, yeah.
That's impressive. That shows you that the discipline has to be there.
Right.
That it's not even about age, and it's, because there's so many people out there that say, the guy's been playing forever. But if anything, that wear and tear in the body, I think, will be just the opposite. That every year it's going to be that much harder for him than that young guy that just came in and started. Yeah,
and I think that's the point that he's trying. I think that's what he's trying to do here is show that taking care of your body, pushing it to the next level. Pliability is his big thing. His diet, what he puts into his body, and I think he's really trying to redefine what you can do at that age.
Have you ever met him?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe when you get to your next spot, you will.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, so they ended up, which to me, that seemed like a blowout game last year.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed at all.
Right.
In fact, I totally forgot what team they were playing.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go. So
who,
I totally
forgot. The big thing in that game was...
You think it's going to be that again this year? You think the Chiefs are going to take it?
I think it'll be the Chiefs and the Bucks again. The big thing in the Super Bowl was that the defensive line really got after Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback of the Chiefs. and he was just running for his life all game long. And
so you're saying he needed more support?
Yes, on the offensive line, and
Okay.
that's really what the Chiefs did this offseason, was completely revamp their offensive line, almost.
Okay, to give him more of a defense, so he's not out there running for
Yeah,
his life.
exactly. So he's not
Okay.
scrambling, and he can sit there and he can go through his reads and all
I'll
that.
talk in
kind of
layman's terms for all you ladies that have no idea.
stuff. Yeah, so he'll be much better protected this year,
Okay.
which was really the only, like you said, it was kind of a blowout, and that's because he was under duress all game long.
Right.
So yeah, between the Thunder. Between
I'll split that.
exactly, yeah. Between the Bucks, going through, returning all 22 starters, and the Chiefs revamping that offensive line, I really think, they could be on a collision course again.
Okay, so do we think, so we've got some puppy issues now because of the storms. Here, I'll actually bring Dobie up because I don't want it to be all sad. Okay, so do we actually think, because I'll be honest, again, I'm much older than you, and I remember back in high school, it was always, Penny, I'm going to be doing a lot of splicing. It was always Dallas and the Eagles. And then, right, like all through the 90s, and then all of a sudden it's like the Eagles got clipped. Then he left and went to that other team, the coach, and he did really well.
Yeah.
But do you think they're just out now? Like, you're not giving any love to Dallas or the Eagles? Like, you think they're pretty much done now?
Not anytime soon. It's always fun to watch because of the history and the rivalry.
Yes, that's what
and
I
all
mean.
that.
And it's like, you want to see them come back. I mean, I remember when the Jaguars first came in, the Panthers first came in.
Right.
Like the newer teams. And they really haven't done too much.
Right.
It's like they did maybe for a minute.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. It looks like Philadelphia's kind of settled on their, quarterback. They traded away Carson Wentz. Looks like they might go in with Jalen Hurts at the beginning of the year.
So tell me a little bit about these guys.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to put you on the spot, ESPN guy. It's okay, Penny. It's okay. All right, you want to do me a favor quick and just walk over to the microwave, just see. Oh, there you go. How much time we have? Okay, so beautiful. Okay, so we'll end up, like, obviously we're going to keep rolling, and then I'm just going to splice it.
Sure.
So let's end it with giving kind of like a recap of what you think that the predictions are going to be, of what the teams are going to be, and like what's there something that separates you from any kind of other anchor. We're wrapping it up, buddy.
Okay.
We're still wrapping it up. I know. Okay, guys, so we had to stop for a second because it is torrential downpour here, and unfortunately we've got a puppy with some puppy issues, but I think he's okay, so we're gonna so they're gonna sit down here like little fans. I think we covered it all. So your prediction was that you think it's going to be the Chiefs and the Tampas again.
Right, yeah, right now I'm
Okay.
going to go repeat of last year's Super Bowl. I'm going to go Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But see, now you have me excited to watch it. Now that you told me that they went in and they totally revamped their defensive line.
Right.
So that quarterback's not like running for his life.
Right.
Because if I were him, I would have went in that locker room throwing stuff. I would have just been like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Exactly. Right.
Is anybody out there today with me?
Right.
Because it was kind of sad to watch.
Yeah.
He had no backup.
And then another thing to watch, which could be taken care of by the time this airs, Aaron Rodgers is unhappy with his situation in Green Bay. So depending on...
I don't know who Aaron Rodgers is, but the name sounds familiar. So he's a
he's
quarterback.
hosting Jeopardy now. Yeah, he's got crossover appeal. Yeah.
Which is
Jaden
happening. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So depending on where he could land, depending on which team he goes to, if he goes anywhere.
Okay. So this will air next week. So if anybody has information, you can definitely post it. That'd be interesting to see.
Right.
Or we're gonna do a follow-up show.
Right.
And I'm gonna brag on you a little bit because the guy just got an amazing opportunity that I'm not even allowed to share with you yet. But I'm definitely gonna follow up with you. We'll have to stay tuned for that. But I thank you so much for coming up here in this weather. I always love to take people out by the dock and the water because it's so beautiful, but unfortunately...
Yeah. It doesn't look like that's going to happen
I would have
today.
melted in this dress and it would have gotten ugly. So, but I thank you so much for coming up.
Yeah,
and doing
absolutely.
this.
Anytime.
Okay, so now at the end, you know what I say. 2, 3. Besito.
Have a great day. Thank you so much. I've got nothing still. Paxton Boyd. Check me out. Instagram, Paxton Boyd, Twitter,
And I'm gonna have all of his. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have all of his information. Back. Thank you so much. I have Paxton Lee in the house. I'm trying to be Okay, so cut that. Why did I say?
That's my Facebook.